Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to ZooBox. I'm Sean, and today we got something very different. This is going to be the first in a series of vlogs called Road to Punching Bag. So I'm in the midst of making a movie, essentially. It's kind of my life stream. I was very inspired by some of the people that I've come across on the internet, some of the people that I work with, my adopted son, Jeremy, being one of them. Very inspired by their chutzpah, and they're just kind of fuck it, let's go do it. And it's something I've wanted to do for a very long time. I never really had the time to do it. Never really was able to kind of dedicate myself to something other than my life, other than my wife and my kids. And now that my kids are getting a little bit older and things are kind of settling into itself, right? Our life is kind of settling down. There's more of an opportunity to kind of go out and do your own thing a little bit. Not entirely, but a little bit. So I'm using my energies to do something I've always wanted to do, and I have an idea for a story that I think will make for a great short film. It may end up being feature length. I'm not really sure. Things are a little bit fluid in that territory right now. It kind of depends on who I can rope in and to help me, and if they're dedicated to it. It's just not something I can really hire people, etc. And you know how it is with fucking actors. Flaky motherfuckers. Just trying to get somebody to show up seems like it might be an issue. So I'm trying to scale it in a way that I know that I can do it. So I have an idea of how to build it out as a feature length thing, but for right now, I'm just focusing on the short version of it because I think I can do it. I can actually accomplish this, and I think I got some cool ideas. I'm not going to talk about the story right now. The basic outline is finished. I know everything that happens in the story. I know who the characters are going to be, but I just haven't I haven't worked through the entire script yet. I got to put it in script form. I got to write the dialogue. I got to write the stage directions, all that good stuff. But I think that'll actually come pretty quickly. This whole thing kind of has been on the back burner of my life for a long time. A story like this, I've kind of repurposed it for what we're working on now. It's called Punching Bag, and I'm very excited about it. But the thing with this movie and this story, for it to work, I have to basically transform myself. The basic subtext of the story, it's kind of about stoicism and manifesting stoicism through your physicality. That's kind of a big component of the story. Not just physicality, but, it's a movie. You got to show it and not say it. The word stoicism will never be uttered, but I'm trying to imbue it with as much essence of stoicism as humanly possible. And part of that is my body, my body. So I'm getting into shape. I'm going to get into the best shape of my entire life, honestly. And I'm already on my way. I've already done a lot of work. I've been going to the gym kind of consistently since about December, but over the past month or so, I've kind of ramped things up while I was thinking about this and kind of preparing this. And I was able to talk to my buddy, my good buddy, Big Paul. He's going to be helping me out with it. So it's becoming more and more real. And I'm doing a bunch of camera tests, and I'm trying to figure out, how to film it, what it's going to look like when I film it, what does my body look like on camera. So throughout this process, I've been doing these camera tests, essentially editing these little videos together. Maybe someday you'll see them. I don't know. Because I'm not there yet. My body's not ready, but I still have to, while I'm preparing my body, I'm also preparing my mind in a sense of how to do these things, kind of just dusting off the cobwebs, shaking the rust off. It's been a long time since I've had the opportunity to work on anything that wasn't, something ZooBox related, which was, movie reviews, book reviews. I've done a few sketches here and there over the years, but nothing serious, nothing really, that took a lot of effort. I mean, most of the things I've made on ZooBox are literally I'll have an idea, I'll go film it for 20 minutes, a half hour. I'll edit for a half hour, and then it's up on the internet. I do most of those things on my phone with the sketches, not the other stuff. The other stuff that takes, more editing. I do that on my computer because why wouldn't I? I have a nice computer. Thanks, family. But anyways, so I figured for a good opening episode, let's talk about kind of what we're doing, the regimen. So I got some stuff from the store to kind of help me bulk up a little bit. And I got this stuff, which I used for the first time tonight at the gym. It's called Pre-Workout Explosion by Six Star. I am new to all this shit, so I'm not a gym guy. I'm actually not into gym culture at all. Maybe I will be by the end of this. I don't know. There's just something about it I've always found very off-putting. But I can see myself coming around once I become a gym bro. So this stuff really helped, though. It kind of gives you a kick in the ass. It's got 320 milligrams of caffeine, 3.2 grams of beta-alanine. Is that how you say that? I don't even know. 3 grams of L-citrulline and 1,812 milligrams of electrolyte matrix. Whatever the fuck that is. There's some more information about that stuff on the back. They make, like, the warning labels and shit are, like, so fucking small. And I don't know if I'm just getting old, if I'm just becoming an old man, but it's kind of a pain in the ass to read. I'll be real. But yeah, so this kind of just gives you a little extra boost, a bunch of vitamins and shit like that in this. That's what I found with most supplements that I was looking at, and most kind of like protein powders, etc. They're full of just shit, just stuff. They're like, this is the healthiest thing you'll ever experience. This is the healthiest thing you'll ever put in your body. Especially with this Mastech stuff. Because one of the things I'm going to start doing is start doing creatine. I have pure creatine right here. I actually lucked out. I was at the store and they were getting rid of this brand of creatine, and that stuff was like dirt cheap. Normally this is like $35, and it basically is, I think it's like essentially like a week's worth of creatine, because you got to take creatine like all the time, apparently, to get what you're looking for out of it. This actually has creatine in it. This has 1 serving of creatine. So if I were to use this creatine, just one of them, because you're supposed to take, how many times a day are you supposed to? Recommended dose. Start with a loading phase, whatever the fuck that is, a loading phase of 5 to 7 days, and follow a maintenance phase. Take daily with water or juice. Loading phase, 1 rounded tablespoon, 5 grams, which is in a serving of this. 4 times daily, a total of 20 grams a day for 5 to 7 days. Maintain phase 2/3, 1 rounded tablespoon daily, 3 to 5 times daily. So they want you to take this up to like 5 times a day. I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think I need to go there yet. I'm going to wait to get into serious creatine until I'm like a couple months out from filming, because creatine is going to help. It's going to help with kind of just showing definition, getting a good cut, apparently. That's what I'm learning. Like, I've just started getting into this stuff. So this is why it's like kind of the road to punching bag. It's me also figuring this shit out. I've never done anything like this in my entire life. I've thought about it a few times. I have a natural ability, thankfully, to like kind of bulk up. Like when I start lifting weights and I start doing stuff, I just kind of bulk up like really quickly. I've already started to bulk up. Like, I'm still too heavy. I'm about like 35 pounds probably of fat that I got to get rid of over the next few months, which I think is completely doable, though. I've been very dedicated. I'm very locked into this. Because for me, this is kind of it. Like, if I don't do this and I don't get this done in the next year, I think I'm just going to be done with the internet shit. I think I'm just going to retire. I think I'm just going to retire and just go focus on being a good dad and a good husband, because, you know, there's a lot of energy gets put into this stuff. I've been very spotty on this channel and putting out stuff over the past year because I just had a lot of stuff going on in my life, and I don't have a lot of room for this anymore. And also, I don't have the desire a lot of the time. I'll be real with you. And it's not because I don't like making things. I don't like making the same shit over and over and over again. When I say something or I do something, that's kind of it. Like, I'm kind of done with it. I'm not really built to be an influencer or a YouTube guy. Like, that's just not who I am. And whenever I do things, I like to be somewhat productive, which Zoobox was a part of and is a part of, right? Every time I read a book or I watch a movie, I always feel like I got to make it worth my time in some respect, right? So for the past, I don't know, 7 years, I've had like a Letterboxd account, right? So every movie that I watch, every movie that I buy, I try to make that time that I spent valuable in some way by writing at least something about the movie. I write a lot shorter reviews these days because I just don't have as much time. But back in the day, I mean, if you go back on my Letterboxd account, there's like real reviews on there of movies all over the place, totally random shit. It's a good time. It's a good time. So that's kind of always been my perspective with this kind of stuff. Like, it's got to produce something for me in some way. If I'm going to put that much time and effort into it. And I've really, and for a while, there was a couple years where I gave this a real honest go. Like, I was uploading all the time, podcasts regularly, goes to the movies regularly, goes to the library pretty regularly. There was stuff coming out all the time. And nowadays, I barely have time to do like nightcaps or goes to the movies live. Like, it's just hard for me to get everything I need done. I have a very full life. I have 2 kids. I got a wife. We homeschool our kids. Like, it's a lot. And I do all that stuff. I do all the homeschooling. I do all the taking care of the kids. And that's a full-time job. Don't let anybody tell you differently. I'll tell you what. If you had a stay-at-home mom, you should call her and thank her. But yeah. So that's kind of my perspective on this stuff. And, I feel like I've been building up towards doing this for a long time in my life. And I kind of self-sabotage. Like, you take a big risk. You take a big chance, like making yourself vulnerable in the way of doing something like this, because it's not a lark. Like, this is not a comedy. Sure, there'll be like maybe some humorous things in it, but it's not a comedy. And I'm not like a professional actor. I'm not a professional director. I'm just a dude that loves movies, loves stories, and loves the power that they have. I really enjoy. There's nothing better than watching a good movie that you feel enriched by. Same thing with like reading a good book. Big Paul and I have been going back and like reading some of the classics, some things we've missed over the years, or some notable authors, like these kind of cultural touchstones for the hoity-toity crowd. And it's been great. It's been an amazing experience. Classic books are classics for a reason. And they say something about the human condition and about life and experience. And movies provide that too. And that's something that I would like to be a part of as somebody that is a fan of stories and that is a fan of telling stories that communicate something true, something raw. And I think with Punching Bag, I think I've really kind of found that. I've tapped into that because it's a deeply personal story for me. Not the particulars. The plot is alien to me. The plot is not my life, but it is at the same time, right? And I found myself like I need to do this. Like, I need to get it out of me. Back in the day, I used to be in a band. And I don't think I really recognized how therapeutic and how helpful that was to me as a young man. Because everything I felt, everything I needed to get out, I put into the band. I was the singer, and I wrote the lyrics. And I really got my shit out when I did that. Like, I didn't hold back at all. Completely vulnerable, completely me. Out there. And it was an experience, and it was something I don't think I kind of understood maybe at the time. And as I've gotten older and I've had that absence of my life, like, I haven't been very creative in the past few years. Having a kid will do that. Sometimes you kind of put the pause button on when you have kids for a little while because they need you. And they didn't ask to be born. And that's your responsibility, And it's, which it's people act like, oh, it derailed my life. It didn't. Oh, fuck. It's just like, no, dude, you just grew up. That's just what happened. But I've never lost like my urge to be creative or a creative impulse. And that was definitely why Zoobox has stayed around for so long. Even Zoobox itself, it wasn't my idea. I actually didn't start Zoobox. I've always been the figurehead. I've always been like kind of the one doing things, but it wasn't my idea to start it. It was a podcast I was doing with my brothers and my cousin. And I just ended up being kind of the de facto host and the de facto one and kind of that did everything. And as that kind of ended, there was a time I didn't even know if I was going to be able to keep the channel because it wasn't really mine. It wasn't mine. I did all the work. I did all the stuff. But, I am somewhat of a principled person. Try not to be a principled loser these days, but I am somewhat of a principled person, and it wasn't mine. Like, I did all that work knowing that it belonged to all of us. And but thankfully, when they didn't want to do it anymore, they graciously kind of let me keep the channel. And they said, and to their credit, they were like, dude, you've done so much work. You've done all this shit. You make all these videos. You do movie reviews. You do other podcasts. Of course, we're not going to get pissy if you want to keep the channel going. Like, you put a lot of work into it. So I always appreciated that from them. But yeah, but it's not something I kind of saw myself doing forever either. Especially I really love doing movie reviews and stuff, but when that's all you do, it starts getting kind of old. It does get a little bit old. And I really want to follow this impulse that I have of wanting to make a movie. I've always kind of said, like, I don't care what it is. I was like, I'm going to make one before I die. And maybe this will be that one. Maybe I'll do one and I'll get it out of my system and I'll be like, well, that was either fun or it sucked or whatever, but something will come out of it. Something will come out of it. And I don't have like giant aspirations for it either. It is something that, like, just like everything I do, just like any art that you do, you kind of have to, and however kind of self-serving or narcissistic it sounds, you have to do it for yourself. Because at the end of the day, your art is about you. It's not really about the people that are going to consume it. We see what happens when they make movies that are specifically tailored to audiences, right? They're lowest common denominator. They're generic. Nobody really actually likes them because nobody really knows what they want out of anything, myself included. So yeah, I like a strong authorial voice. And I just, I think I got it. I think I got what it takes. I'll be real with you. I'll be a little narcissistic. I think I can do it. And I'm not even worried about that. That's the weirdest thing. Like, I'm not worried about like the directing part. I'm not worried about the filming part. I'm worried that I won't be a good enough actor to sell it in the way that I need to sell it. I'm worried that my body won't be where I need it to be, or I'll fall off or something. So in some ways, that's kind of why I'm doing this. It's like accountability. And I know like 10 people are going to watch this because that's just the way it goes. But I kind of wanted to chronicle my journey through this experience. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't even know if I should post this. I'm kind of just rambling a little bit here, but I'm excited. I'm also very tired right now. I'm also super fucking tired because I went to the gym. I was at the gym for like 2.5 hours today. I ran 6 miles on the elliptical. I don't know if that really counts, but I did 6 miles on the elliptical. And that was after like lifting weights and doing crunches and doing all this shit with their machines there at the gym. So yeah. Maybe that's why I'm doing it. 'Cause I'm tired and I'm just like, well, I gotta go. But What am I even saying? I'm like, I'm so tired. I don't even know what I'm fucking saying right now. Is it the creatine's already rotting my brain from the inside? Damn, that's rough stuff. Because I was going to do a nightcap, and I got home. I was like, dude, I was too fucking cashed out. I gave it everything. I gave it everything. And that's I got to keep that kind of spirit alive too. I got to keep it through the duration because, I can get into shape, but I'm going to have to maintain it until this is done. And I'm going to have to maintain it in a way that I will not have that body as my normal walking around body, because I'm going to go a little overboard, if you will. But I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. Things should be fun, right? Okay, anyways, that was fucking lame. I'm tired. Bye.